you're right. I think one of the major sort of shifts around marketing just over the last 5 to 7 years is that a lot of the tried and tested sort of approaches to demand generation, they still work, but they've had to go through major revisions and tweaks. I think because we're trying to cut through so much noise, and I think that as marketers, one of the best things that we can realize is A, not every message we have is important. B, we're one of 24 vendors fighting for inbox space that thinks their message is important. And three, oftentimes we're just trying to pull together enough sort of stuff to fulfill the KPIs that are a part of our roadmap, that are a part of our chart, rather than trying to ask, are we still delivering value to our customers? Is what I'm going to say to this person worth their time and effort to read it? And you can't just let your own sort of sense of self-importance answer that question for you. And so we used to have a rule at Grovo where we would only send one marketing email a week. That was all our customers would get. That would be all our prospects would get. Now, sure, sales would reach out independent of that, but pure marketing emails, we really wanted to sort of mitigate how much exposure we had to that person's inbox, unless what we had to say was actually going to be valuable for them. And I think for me, all of that starts back at empathy. One of the sort of amazing things that I get to do every day at Project 10K as Chief Strategy Officer, I get to own all of the go-to-market strategies for over 24 startups. And basically, that's how I'm going to sell your product. That's what a go-to-market strategy largely is. So you look at a lot of marketing, you look at a lot of customer communication, you look at that customer feedback loop and how all of those pieces integrate together. But ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're trying to solve that pain point in a way that comes across as very human, very empathetic. And for us at Project 10K, we spend a lot of time trying to deeply understand who it is we're trying to serve. Who are we speaking to? What are the things that they care about outside of your product? What are the other common themes that we can identify? What do those then turn into in terms of content pillars? How does that impact the way we automate our messages? Is any of it SMS or is it all email? How many times do they need to be reached out to? And so we really look at each one of those factors, but I think a solid cornerstone in each case is how are we going to answer that pain point question? How are we going to appeal to that person's sense of humanity? And we often give examples when people think about brand, and I think this is true of early stage founders, they think brand is a product, and it's really not. It's the sum total of an experience with a product. And when you do that consistently over time, then that brand becomes synonymous with that product, and that product becomes synonymous with that brand. And so when you look at companies like Nike, they're not really selling athletic equipment and apparel. They're selling human potential. Just do it. BMW isn't selling luxury automobiles. They're selling exhilaration, ultimate driving. Look at, Starbucks. If you walk into a Starbucks and then you walk into a Dunkin' Donuts next door, very, very different brand experiences, but they're all supporting that pain point. They know exactly who their audience is that they're talking to. And everything that they do throughout the funnel helps reinforce the language that they know will speak to that audience. And I think that as marketers, that's all we're trying to do in those early days of convalescence. We're putting a lot of things out there, figuring out which pieces are resonating, which parts have traction, and when you find something, if you have a page that simply isn't converting, but you love it, put aside how much you love it and just let the data speak for it. It's not working.
Come on.
I know you love it. It's just not working. and that's what I, sort of meant when I said they can't kid themselves about value. I mean, it's so important to be able to be nimble and be able to change as the business needs change. So,
yeah.